As the Houston Rockets sign different free agents, building around their current roster, James Harden has requested a trade to the Brooklyn Nets. With the Rockets in turmoil, Russell Westbrook also wanting to get out of Houston, and the hysteria of thinking about a big three with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, I want to go over the main trade, sending James Harden to Brooklyn. The only way to make a trade somewhat balanced for Houston in this scenario would be essentially rob the Brooklyn Nets of multiple young assets, multiple first-round picks, and players to supplement the salary. The Brooklyn Nets in this trade received James Harden in exchange for the cap-hold Garrett Temple, Spencer Dinwiddie, Caris LeVert, Jared Allen, and first-round picks in 2021, 2023, and a top 5 protected first-round pick in 2025. Any trade involving Harden and the Nets will include Caris LeVert and 3 first-round picks. That's set in my mind that Houston would not take anything less than that. LeVert is the young star that the Rockets will have to have in any exchange. His potential with his team-friendly contract is a no-brainer in any James Harden deal. Garrett Temple's cap hold serves as a form of cap relief, and Houston will, in my view, will definitely go after any other quality players they can get in this trade. Spencer Dinwiddie and Jared Allen being the 2 other core pieces. Essentially, the Brooklyn Nets are going to have to mortgage their entire core surrounding the Big Three, along with a multitude of assets in order to get James Harden, which may be a trade as infamous as the Brooklyn Nets-Boston Celtics swap. The 3 alternate first-round picks will be required in any deal involving Harden. Now, from my outlook, this trade will be more telling in the future of the Rockets than the Nets. We all understand how we're going to view the success of this Big Three in Brooklyn. But for Houston, adding 2 young players in Jared Allen, one of those being an all-star in Caris LeVert, along with Spencer Dinwiddie, is going to be really interesting to watch, especially depending on what comes with the Russell Westbrook saga. I could easily see the Rockets become a starless team that finds its way into the playoffs based off their bench depth and tons of scoring at every position. Even if Houston keeps Russell Westbrook, the Rockets would now have a lineup of Russ, Eric Gordon, Caris LeVert, PJ Tucker, and Jared Allen, with Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench. That's a quality starting 6. I know what questions are coming up right now, and in short, yes, this would be the end of the Houston small ball experiment. The whole concept of small ball was focused around giving James Harden the ball and making him score. There's one other alternate option to this trade, which I've seen where the salaries are a bit different when replacing Jared Allen with Taurean Prince, and the small ball sort of continued in that trade scenario. But with the public endorsement of DeAndre Jordan for center by Kyrie and KD already, I believe that Jared Allen would be much better served playing center somewhere else. The James Harden era with Houston seems to be ending in explosive and dramatic fashion. The fact that it's ending without reaching the NBA Finals and with so much disappointment and turmoil only makes this Brooklyn scenario even more interesting as we go forward. James Harden has always shot the ball anytime he's in the game, but with Brooklyn, we are going to see the most shocking version of all 3 of these players that we have ever seen.